Welcome to the Root Cause Revolution podcast with functional and integrative nurse nutritionist and energy medicine practitioner, Audrey Christie.
Hi, friends. Welcome to episode 299 of the Root Cause Revolution podcast. I'm your host, Audrey. For those of you who are new here, I'll introduce myself real quick before we jump into today's live Q&A, or not live Q&A, but Q&A episode where you guys submitted questions and I will answer them on the air. I am Audrey. I'm a root cause clinician. I specialize in helping women to stop masking symptoms and start healing from the root causes of autoimmune disease, chronic symptoms, all those little things that just won't go away. I tend to work with people who have tried it all and still aren't at the level of health and wellness that they desire and deserve. So I specialize in helping you start your own root cause revolution to rebalance your body so it can heal for good. So if you're done with Band-Aids and ready for real healing solutions, I'm here to help. All right. So I might get a little fired up about our first question today. There's a couple different places to submit questions. You can submit questions in our free private Facebook group, the Women's Wellness Circle. We have an open office hours thing every Friday, post every Friday, in which I come in and answer y'all's questions directly. And then sometimes we use those for these episodes. You can also send me an email, reach out to me on the website, or send me a question on the form at audreychristie.com/question, which is linked in the show notes on your podcast provider. All right. So this first question is from a longtime member, and it says, is vertigo really something that, quote, just middle-aged females are naturally afflicted with? Now you might understand why I got a little upset, right? What this person, after some discussion, was diagnosed with is benign paroxysmal positional vertigo, or BPPV. Now, does it impact more women than men? Yes. Does it impact more women over than 50 than men? Yes. It is not a normal part of aging. It is not a natural part of aging. Almost any affliction that a doctor tells you is a natural part of aging, that should be a reason for you to get up and walk out of that office and never go back. Find another doctor, right? That is absolutely not a normal occurrence. What happens? Now, I can tell you what it is. Usually when this happens, it's a brief recurrent type disorder that happens when changing head positions. It usually lasts about a minute. It's a vertigo, a dizziness that lasts about a minute. Normally, what happens is there is some kind of disruption in the movement of the tiny calcified crystals within the inner ear. Now, these collection of crystals, they are in the labyrinth in the inner ear. So if you've ever seen the picture of the labyrinth of the inner ear, it's a little curly little thing, looks just like a labyrinth inside of your ear. And these crystals lie on these hair cells and they detect gravity and movement. The movement causes the crystals to shift, which causes the hair to bend, which sends a signal to our brain that lets us know, hello, we are moving, right? In cases of BPPV, these crystals move or they dislocate from their usual position into another part of the inner ear. When that happens, it causes a sensation of moving when we are still, right? When we're still, it still sends the signal to your brain that you're moving. Or it can continue the sensation of moving after you have stopped moving. Essentially, it tricks our brain into thinking we're moving when we're not. Now, most often, the treatment for this is a manual therapeutic exercise that moves the crystals back to their optimal position. So usually you want to get something called the Epley maneuver, which is professionally assisted. You can also follow that up with home treatments, and you can look up Brandt Daroff, BRANDT exercises to improve that condition at home, to get those crystals back where they belong. Now, it's important to assess and address the underlying root cause of this, and it's not being female over 50, for goodness sake. Some of the most common root causes I see are hydration. So you're underhydrated, and if you're feel like you're consuming the right amount of water, then you're not cellularly hydrated. So often that means you need to adjust your electrolyte intake, sometimes your sugar intake too. Number 2, get some sleep. Sleep is a root cause of about 35% of these cases that we see. So if you're having sleep trouble, then that is something that needs to be addressed in order to prevent this from coming back. Number 3, alcohol intake. Alcohol changes the fluid composition in your ears. Even your 1 to 2 glasses of wine a week, no amount of alcohol is a healthy amount of alcohol. So reduce or eliminate that alcohol intake. Number 4, you guys hear me harp on this a lot, stress, right? Stress reduction can effectively eliminate vertigo. And we know we can't necessarily reduce the stress that we are exposed to, but we can reduce the way our body interacts with stress. We can mitigate that stress in that way. So meditation, deep breathing exercises, those are really great ways to begin. I love tapping exercises for vertigo. But mindfully identifying stressful triggers in your life can help you to have a better perspective on how to manage and deal with stress. Yoga and Tai Chi are also beneficial for vertigo. You want to avoid any exercises that increase your symptoms. So sudden movements, right? So simple poses that open the back, neck, shoulder, and abs are really beneficial for vertigo. And then the last one is vitamin D levels. And this is actually correlated with studies. You can find it in the National Library of Medicine, but a lack of vitamin D contributes to the crystals in your inner ear because of its role in calcium utilization in the body. So that is definitely something that you can do to benefit or stop the recurrence of vertigo. What is important to remember is that vertigo is not a disease itself. It is a symptom of a larger underlying problem that needs to be addressed. Another question I've been getting in some form or fashion relatively frequently lately is, especially from people who've taken the Drainage and Energy course, is there replacement products for CT minerals and the ATP products that I use in my drainage protocol? And there absolutely is. So if you are on this protocol, you can either reach out to me in the Practice Better Hub if we have worked one-on-one, or send me an email and I will send you the link. It is in the Fullscript store under Energy and Drainage. I picked out some supplements that are complementary of those supplements and can be used in place of them. Question number 3 is there a root cause of skin tags, generally around the neck? And yes, there is. There are essentially 3 causes of skin tags. Sometimes it's just plain old friction, right? So if you are somebody who wears a certain type of fabric that might be irritating your skin, if you wear a uniform to work or school and it kind of rubs the same area all the time, then sometimes it's just a friction issue. It tricks the skin cells into creating more skin cells, and they kind of stack up in these little keratin nubs on the skin. More often, I see that it's part of a blood sugar issue. So it can be a sign that you are suffering from some insulin resistance, and you could be headed into something more serious. It's definitely a early symptom to be looking for the root cause for before it develops into something much, much larger than that. And then the third thing I see is that sometimes it's a parasitic issue. We talk about parasites a lot and how, the modern medicine would have us think that parasites aren't an issue for humans, but we treat all the other mammals on the planet that live with us and share our beds and lick our faces and sometimes even eat off our silverware. I've talked to people who do that. They all get treated for parasites. So to think that somehow we are escaping that is a little bit foolish, right? So sometimes it is definitely a parasitic issue. The good news is these are all things that we can tell by looking just at the normal lab work that your doctor has done for you and probably does for you every year. So often people will grab a lab results review, send me their lab work, and then we'll look at it from a functional perspective. So we're looking at a different range than they are in the typical lab ranges. So hopefully that helps with those skin tags. The good news is the skin tags are in and of themselves relatively benign and you can just snip them right off. But don't continue to do that if you are going to ignore that is a little red flag. It's not a huge red flag, but it's a little red flag that your body's waving. I'll say that most of the time when people have skin tags, unless it's just purely friction, it doesn't occur in a vacuum. And there's likely some other symptoms that need to be addressed as well. All right, our next question is about fibroids. And the question is there really no treatment besides a full hysterectomy or ablations? What are the natural options? Well, so there really isn't, sort of, right? The answer is sort of. There aren't any more treatments than an ablation or a full hysterectomy that removes fibroids, that physically removes them. But there are other ways to fix them. Now, you have to know that even if you surgically remove thyroids or ablate them, which is just a medical term for burning them off, essentially, it does not fix the problem. And the problem will only surface somewhere else in the body. So fibroids are caused by a very fixable, now when I say fixable, I'm not saying necessarily a fast or easy fix, but a very fixable hormone imbalance. Usually it's estrogen in particular, but not always. It can include dietary changes. It can include, it has to include detoxing your life. So things like removing all of those toxic hair, face, skin, laundry products, air fresheners, Scentsy, melty wax, scented candles, all of those things have to go because those are real hormone disruptors and real triggers. Your changes include stress mitigation, vitamin D deficiency correction, and then majorly increasing the fruit and veggies in your life and reducing those ultra processed foods and eliminating, at least temporarily, alcohol. So that's kind of the 30-second version of what you have to do. If you wanted something to start with today, if you have a surgery on the books, you want to start with something today to make quick changes, easy changes, get rid of all those hormone disruptors in your home that you're putting on your body, in your skin and your hair and all of those things. Stop alcohol. And instead of focusing on what to reduce or eliminate in your diet, cram it full with as many fresh fruits, veggies, and fresh cooked meat than you can possibly fathom. Okay. That'll get you the quickest results from here. If you guys have more in-depth questions, definitely submit them. Let me know. You can join the Women's Wellness Circle on Facebook, free private Facebook group where we support each other and ask questions and get questions answered to all those little things. If you want to take it a step further, you can join the Root Cause Revolution membership, which is a paid membership. It comes with a masterclass every single month. It comes with discounts on supplements and appointments. It comes with 2 live Q&As where we chat through all the issues that you might be having or questions that you might have, and 1 energy healing session a month. Definitely check out all the links in the bio. I'll see you next time.
Thank you for listening to the Root Cause Revolution podcast. Be sure and subscribe on your favorite podcast provider. Ratings and reviews are always appreciated.